Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. In this tutorial I'll show you how I created my mount system. So this is just the default third-person project. Let's get started. So I'm going to create a new folder called mount project. This is where we'll be putting everything we make. So let's start with the AI guy that follows you. So go to blueprints, create character, call in AI base underscore BP. Then go to blueprints again, and under all classes, press the drop down menu and get AI controller. Let's call this AI controller underscore BP. Okay. Now open the AI base blueprint, and under mesh, let's just make this the normal character. Just position him correctly so he's facing forward, he's on the ground. Let's make him use the third person animation blueprint as well. Okay, now this is important. Come to class settings, class default. And under AI controller class, select the one we just created. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so now we've got our AI guy in the world, but he's not going to do anything yet. So let's add stuff for him to do. Let's create, first of all, go under artificial intelligence, create a behavior tree. Then we call this mount underscore BT. And then let's also create a blackboard. Mount underscore BB. Okay, so a blackboard is pretty much a struct. You can create variables or different types, and the blackboard, the behavior tree, will read from it. So let's create a new variable. Press add key, object. Let's call this player key. Then under key type, make sure you select actor. Save this. Now let's open our behavior tree and make sure it's got the right blackboard asset we just made over here. Okay, so now this is going to be the behavior tree. Let's make this character use this behavior tree. So go to the controller, event graph, and under begin play, run behavior tree, and then select the behavior tree we just used. Okay, so now this character will use the behavior tree we just created. Now let's make him do some things. Go to the behavior tree. Now off the root, create a selector. Now for the selector, let's create a service for it. Now a service is going to check values and check updates before we continue down the behavior tree. So we want to get the player. So I'm going to press new service up here. It opens it up. If you go back to our folder, you see it created that new service. Let's call this find or get player underscore service. Open it up, and now we need to override a function. So let's override activation. So whenever the service gets activated, it will execute whatever we tell it to execute. Okay, now get the player controller. Okay, wait, yeah. Get controlled pawn. Now we will set this to a blackboard value. Let's promote this to a variable, call it player object. Okay, compile and save. Also make this player object instance editable. You see it gives the variable little I. Okay, now compile and save. Go back to our behavior tree. And if you right click on one of these yellow boxes, go to add service, and we can run the service we just got. Get player service. There we go. And over here, it will set that player object to player key. Okay, now off here, we want this character to find and move to the player. And we can just drag off the selector, go to tasks. Luckily, they've got some already made tasks for us. We can just use the move to task. It's got the blackboard key, player key value in its sights, so it will follow this. And then once we found the character, that's the next thing. Let's wait a bit. Let's wait 3 seconds. Okay, go back to the map. And now if you run this now, it won't work because the player can't just move in the AI guy can't move in this normal map. He needs some boundaries. So he needs a nav mesh to move on. So let's search nav. Let's get the nav mesh bounds volume. Drag it into our map and scale it up. Now if you press P, you can see what is affected by nav mesh bounds volume. All the green is where this character can move. Now if I press play, you'll see the AI guy is running towards us. He's got no sense of personal boundaries. He's right in our face the whole time. Let me put a restriction on that. So, under move to, let's change the acceptable radius to 200. That's how close he must get to the character, get to the target before moving on, before he waits. Now if I press play, he'll stop there. He'll stop 200 units before he gets to us. Okay, cool, so we got that working. Also, to make this extra secure, let's go back to the behavior tree. And let's make sure that the player variable is valid before we wait. So let me right click on this yellow part of the wait task, add a decorator, blackboard, select it, and now over here you can see it will ask, you can check to make sure if something is set or not set. We will make sure is set is player key, so make sure the player key is set before we continue. A decorator is like an if statement, or it's a conditional. So if the conditions are met, it will continue. Let's call this node is player valid ? Just so we can read this behavior tree a bit better. Cool. And this should still work because the player is obviously valid. Okay, cool. Okay, so next thing is let's make the player press a button which will spawn the AI character, because right now he's just always in the level. So let me delete him, and let's create a custom game mode. Blueprint class game mode base. let's just call this mount underscore GM for game mode. You can call whatever you want. Let's make sure that this level is using this game mode. So go to File, no, Edit, Project Settings, then under Maps and Modes, select under Default Game Mode, select Mount Game Mode. Okay, so now we'll be using that Mount Game Mode. Open the Mount Game Mode, go to the event graph, and let's create a custom event. Search custom event. Okay, let's call this custom event spawn mount. Off this custom event, we will spawn AI from class. Now this is a pretty cool node. You can spawn whatever actor you want and then give it a behavior tree. Let's for this custom event, let's pass in the location as an input. Okay, so now whenever this runs, it will spawn the character. Now let's make the character, the actual player, run this event. So let's go to our player blueprint. You can just select him in the world and then press edit third person character. We can ignore this for now. Let's say, what button do we want to press to call the mount? Let's just say 1 key. So when you press the key 1, let's get game mode. Let's cast this game mode to the one we created. Cast to mount game mode. Now off here, as mount game mode, let's run spawn mount. Compile, save. So now whenever we press 1, we will access the game mode and spawn the mount. Let me see what happens now. Nothing. 1. Okay, nothing yet, because he's spawning at 0. Let me get a location. Let me get the location of this player. Let me copy the location back here. Can't just paste it. Okay, let's hard code it. It's hard coded. -750 by 390 by 226. Just running up. So it should spawn our character. Not the way, press 1. There we go. And the AI spawns where our character was just now. And I can keep on spawning characters there. It's like a zombie game. Okay. Okay, let's go back to our player character. Now, in Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Origins and The Witcher and wherever, whenever you spawn your mount, he doesn't magically appear right in front of you. He spawns out of your view. So let's spawn this mount AI character behind the camera. So let's get the camera. Okay, with the camera, let's drag off here and say get world location for where he is in the world at the moment. Let's also get forward vector. Let's time this forward vector by a float. Let's make it -1. Let's make it -1,000. So it will spawn 1,000 in the opposite direction of forward, which is back. So it'll spawn 1,000 units back. behind our camera. Okay, let's get the drag off board location plus vector, and let's pass in that value. So it's going to get the where he is at the moment, the camera, then get 1,000 units behind him, plus it together. Next, let's make sure he spawns inside the nav mesh. So let's get random reachable point in radius. This is using a nav mesh data. Okay, and as you see, we've got an vector output. We can put that into the spawn mount input. Save. And now let's also, for debugging purposes and for visualization, so we can see what's happening, let's draw a debug line. Draw debug line. Let's make the line color green. Okay, so the start, we want it to be camera location, and the end, we want to be the point that the AI guy spawns at. Duration 0, that means it'll constant. Let's make it 5. Thickness 5 as well. Let's compile and save. Let's see how this works. Go to the map, press play, press 1. Oh, he spawns on the map there. He's not moving towards us because he spawned outside the nav mesh. Let's make this a bit bigger. Let's make it encompass the whole map. There we go. Now if I press play, and I press 1, he spawns there. 1 again, spawns there. Now you see they are spawning in the air. So let me get the point where they're spawning and then do a line trace ray shooting down. Make sure it hits the ground. Okay, let's do that now. Also at this point you might want to save all, just to be safe. Okay, now to do that, let's open the game mode. Drag the spawned character far away. Let's get this location and line trace by channel. Just connect these up. Okay, so this line trace is going to be from where our debug line stopped. That will be the start, and it will go, let's see, 1,000 the negative x direction, which is downwards. And now let's also check that we hit some things. So off this return value, make a branch. It'll be true if we hit something, so it'll be false if we don't. So let's go to true and spawn AI from class. So add a reroute node by double clicking on the line just to make this more tidy. Let's also debug this line. Draw type for duration. Let's make it green as well, and the hit color will be red. Okay, let's test this out. 1, boop. And they are still spawning in the sky. Okay, let me try and see what's the problem. Okay, so I figured out the problem. The problem is this radius was set to 0. Just set it to 1,000. and then if you play, you spawn, the character will always be on the ground. You see the debug lines going down. Also, you can continue spawning and they will never spawn in front of you. Okay, so we've got the character spawning behind us correctly. Now let's change the character to a vehicle. You can make it a horse, a car, whatever you want. I've got a custom, well, I downloaded the model and I customized it a bit. The Star Wars speeder bike. So import it. I just dragged it in here. Import it as a skeletal mesh. Make sure the skeleton is empty, and then press import. Now go to the AI base BP. Right click on it and create child blueprint class. I'm going to call this guy mount AI underscore BP. Open that, press the mesh, and change the mesh to our speeder bike or whatever character or vehicle you have. I'm going to compile and save this. Now if you go to the game mode and you set the spawn class to be the mount, compile and save that, and if you go back in the game and spawn, you will see your vehicle is spawned. You can make this a horse or car, whatever you like, as I said earlier on. Let me quickly just add textures to this guy, just make him look a bit better. Okay, so I've finished adding materials to my mount, my speeder bike. Looks pretty nice. I'll put a link to this model in the description, and that's pretty much it. That's the end of this tutorial. There will be a part 2. So in this tutorial, we created the mount that you can spawn, and it will follow you. It will always spawn behind you as well. Right now they are bumping into each other. I'll fix that in the next tutorial. Also in the games, Assassin's Creed and The Witcher, you can only have one mount at a time. So I'll make it that you can also only have one of these guys at a time. Also, in the next video, I'll show you how you can interact with the mount and get on it and control it and then get off. Yeah, that's it. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If it was useful, please consider subscribing for future tutorials. And if you have any suggestions for any tutorials I can make, please leave it in the comments. And yeah, please let me know how you guys enjoyed this video. It's my first time making a tutorial. Yeah, the next tutorial should be out in a week maybe, or a few days, depends on when I get to it. But it should be coming out soon, so keep an eye out for that, guys. Okay, thanks for watching and see you later.